In the rugged and windswept Highlands of Scotland, where mist drapes the landscape like a ghostly shroud and the mournful call of the wind echoes through ancient glens, stands a castle steeped in legend and mystery. This is not just any castle, but the ancestral home of the Clan MacGregor, a place where history and the supernatural are inseparably intertwined. Tonight, I invite you to step into the chilling world of the haunted castle of the Highland Lords, where centuries-old secrets linger in the shadows, and the spirits of long-dead lairds walk the corridors, seeking peace that has long eluded them. This is a tale of pride, betrayal, and the haunting echoes of a forgotten past.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another chilling episode of Wicked Whispers, where the shadows come alive and nightmares whisper their secrets.
Dunbar Castle, as it is known, stands proudly on the edge of a secluded loch, its stone walls rising majestically from the rugged landscape. The castle was built in the late 13th century by the first laird of Clan MacGregor, a man of great ambition and vision. Its strategic location, overlooking the loch and surrounded by the Highland mountains, made it both a formidable fortress and a symbol of the clan's power. For centuries, the castle was the seat of the MacGregor clan, a family known for their fierce loyalty and unyielding spirit. The lairds of Dunbar Castle were respected and feared by their enemies, and their influence extended far beyond the Highlands. The castle was a place of grandeur and tradition, where feasts were held in the great hall, and the walls echoed with the laughter and music of Highland gatherings. But beneath the surface of this proud and noble family, there were dark secrets. The MacGregors were not only warriors and leaders but also keepers of ancient traditions and beliefs, some of which bordered on the occult. The castle became a place where the lines between the living and the dead were often blurred, and where the spirits of the past were never far from the present. The haunting of Dunbar Castle is said to have begun with the curse of the first laird, Duncan MacGregor. According to legend, Duncan was a ruthless and ambitious man who would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. He expanded the clan's territory through a series of brutal campaigns, and his enemies often met gruesome fates. But Duncan's thirst for power came at a great cost. He made a pact with a local witch, promising her protection and wealth in exchange for her assistance in his conquests. The witch, known as Morag, was a powerful figure in the Highlands, feared and respected by all who knew her. She agreed to help Duncan, but she also warned him that his ambition would bring about his downfall. As Duncan's power grew, so did his arrogance. He began to see Morag as a threat and decided to rid himself of her once and for all. One cold winter's night, he lured her to the castle under the guise of a friendly meeting. But as soon as she entered the gates, Duncan ordered his men to seize her. Morag was dragged to the castle dungeons, where she was tortured and eventually executed. With her dying breath, Morag cursed Duncan and his descendants. She vowed that the castle would never be free from the spirits of the dead and that the MacGregor clan would suffer for their betrayal. That night, as Duncan sat alone in the great hall, the temperature dropped and a chilling wind swept through the castle. He heard the faint sound of a woman's laughter, followed by whispers that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. Duncan dismissed it as his imagination, but from that night on, he was never the same. The curse of the first laird had taken hold, and the haunting of Dunbar Castle had begun. One of the most enduring legends of Dunbar Castle is that of the ghostly piper. The story dates back to the 17th century when the castle was under siege by a rival clan. The MacGregors were outnumbered and outmatched, and it seemed only a matter of time before the castle would fall. In a desperate attempt to rally his men, the laird of the time, Alistair MacGregor, called upon the clan's piper, a young man named Ewan, to play a tune that would inspire the defenders. Ewan was a talented musician, and his piping had always been a source of pride for the clan. As Ewan played, the haunting sound of the pipes echoed through the castle and across the loch. The defenders, emboldened by the music, fought with renewed vigor. But as the battle raged on, a stray arrow struck Ewan, killing him instantly. His body was carried away by the loch's icy waters, and his pipes were never seen again. But Ewan's spirit did not rest. For centuries, visitors to Dunbar Castle have reported hearing the sound of the pipes late at night, often accompanied by the faint splash of water. The ghostly piper is said to appear on the castle walls, his figure silhouetted against the moonlit sky, playing a mournful tune that speaks of loss and longing. Some say that Ewan's spirit is searching for his lost pipes, while others believe that he is still trying to rally the clan in the face of an unseen enemy. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the ghostly piper has become an integral part of the castle's haunted history. Another famous ghost associated with Dunbar Castle is the White Lady, believed to be the spirit of Lady Fiona MacGregor, the wife of one of the lairds. Lady Fiona was known for her beauty, grace, and kindness, and she was beloved by all who knew her. But her life was cut tragically short when she fell ill and died at a young age. Her death was a devastating blow to the clan, and her husband, the laird, was inconsolable. He ordered that a portrait of Lady Fiona be painted and hung in the Great Hall, where it would serve as a reminder of her beauty and the love they had shared. In the years following her death, strange occurrences began to be reported within the castle. Servants claimed to see a ghostly figure dressed in white wandering the corridors late at night. The figure would often stop in front of Lady Fiona's portrait, as if gazing at it with longing. Others reported hearing the sound of soft footsteps and the rustling of a gown, even when no one was there. The White Lady, as she came to be known, became a symbol of the castle's haunted history. Some believe that Lady Fiona's spirit is unable to find peace and that she continues to roam the castle in search of her lost love. Others say that she is a guardian spirit, watching over the castle and its inhabitants. One of the most terrifying legends of Dunbar Castle is that of the Bloody Chamber, a small, windowless room deep within the castle's walls. The room is said to have been the site of a gruesome massacre during the 15th century, when the castle was besieged by a rival clan. According to the legend, the laird of the time, Angus MacGregor, had taken refuge in the chamber with his family and a handful of loyal retainers. As the enemy forces closed in, Angus realized that there was no escape. Rather than face capture and certain death, he decided to take matters into his own hands. Angus ordered his men to kill his wife and children, and then to take their own lives. The room was said to be so small that the blood pooled on the floor, seeping into the very stones themselves. When the enemy forces finally breached the castle's defenses and entered the chamber, they were met with a scene of unimaginable horror. The Bloody Chamber was sealed after the massacre, and it remained untouched for centuries. But the memory of what had happened there lingered, and the room became a source of fear and dread. Visitors to the castle have reported feeling a sense of unease and foreboding when near the chamber, and some have even claimed to hear the faint sound of weeping coming from within. In the early 20th century, the chamber was reopened as part of a restoration project, and what was found there shocked even the most skeptical historians. The walls and floor were stained with what appeared to be blood, and the air was thick with the scent of death. The room was quickly sealed again, and it remains one of the castle's most feared and mysterious locations. The MacGregors were known not only for their military prowess but also for their deep connection to the ancient traditions of the Highlands. These traditions included rituals and practices that bordered on the occult, and the lairds of Dunbar Castle were said to be particularly adept in the dark arts. One of the most infamous lairds, Robert MacGregor, was rumored to have dabbled in necromancy and other forbidden practices. It was said that he would often retreat to the castle's crypt, where he would perform dark rituals to commune with the spirits of the dead. Robert's obsession with the occult eventually led to his downfall. One night, while conducting a particularly dangerous ritual, he was confronted by the spirits he had summoned. The laird was found dead the next morning, his body twisted and contorted in unnatural ways. His face was frozen in a mask of terror, and his eyes were wide open, staring into the void. After Robert's death, the crypt was sealed, and the laird's body was buried in an unmarked grave. But the legacy of his dark practices continued to haunt the castle. Visitors to Dunbar Castle have reported hearing strange chants and seeing flickering lights coming from the crypt, even though it has been sealed for centuries. One of the most terrifying ghostly apparitions associated with Dunbar Castle is that of the Phantom Horseman. The story dates back to the early 18th century when the castle was attacked by a band of raiders. The laird at the time, Sir Malcolm MacGregor, was known for his bravery and skill in battle. As the raiders approached, Sir Malcolm mounted his horse and rode out to meet them. He fought valiantly, cutting down many of the attackers with his sword. But as the battle raged on, he was struck down by an enemy blade. His horse, a loyal and noble steed, refused to leave his side and was also killed in the battle. But Sir Malcolm's spirit did not rest. On stormy nights, when the wind howls through the castle and the rain lashes against the stone walls, the sound of galloping hoofs can be heard echoing through the halls. The Phantom Horseman, as he is known, is said to ride through the castle, his ghostly figure visible only for a brief moment before disappearing into the night. Some believe that Sir Malcolm's spirit is still defending the castle, while others say that he is searching for the peace that eluded him in life. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Phantom Horseman is one of the most enduring and frightening tales of Dunbar Castle. In the late 19th century, Dunbar Castle underwent a major restoration project, led by a wealthy Scottish industrialist who had purchased the castle as a summer residence. The restoration brought the castle back to its former glory, and it once again became a place of grandeur and celebration. But the restoration also stirred up the spirits of the past. Workers reported strange occurrences, such as tools going missing, unexplained cold spots, and the feeling of being watched. Some even claimed to see ghostly figures wandering the corridors, dressed in the attire of long-dead Highland lords and ladies. The industrialist, a man of science and reason, dismissed the reports as mere superstition. But as the restoration neared completion, he himself experienced a chilling encounter. One night, while inspecting the Great Hall, he saw the figure of a woman dressed in white standing by the fireplace. As he approached, the figure turned to face him, and he recognized her as Lady Fiona MacGregor, the White Lady of Dunbar Castle. The encounter left the industrialist deeply shaken, and he became a believer in the castle's haunted history. He ordered that certain areas of the castle, such as the Bloody Chamber and the crypt, be sealed off, and he allowed local historians and paranormal investigators to study the castle's legends. Today, Dunbar Castle is a popular tourist destination, known not only for its stunning architecture and rich history but also for its ghostly legends. Visitors come from all over the world to explore the castle's halls and to experience the chilling atmosphere that pervades its walls. Guided tours take guests through the castle's most haunted areas, including the Bloody Chamber, the crypt, and the Great Hall where the White Lady is said to appear. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters frequently visit the castle, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. Despite the passage of time, the haunting of Dunbar Castle continues. Guests have reported seeing ghostly figures, hearing unexplained noises, and feeling a sense of unease when exploring certain areas of the castle. Some have even claimed to see the Phantom Horseman riding through the misty Highlands, his ghostly figure a reminder of the castle's violent past. The haunted history of Dunbar Castle is a testament to the power of the past and the enduring legacy of the Highland lords. The spirits that roam the castle's halls are not merely ghosts but symbols of a time when honor, loyalty, and family were the guiding principles of life. The MacGregor clan, despite their dark history, remains a proud and respected name in the Highlands. The castle, once a place of fear and dread, has become a symbol of resilience and tradition. The legends of the haunted castle continue to captivate and inspire those who hear them, and the spirits of the past live on in the stories that are told. As you leave the misty Highlands and the ancient walls of Dunbar Castle, the ghostly legends and haunted history of the Highland lords linger in your mind. The castle is a place where the past and present coexist, where the spirits of long-dead lairds still walk the corridors, and where the thin veil between the living and the dead is easily crossed. The haunting of Dunbar Castle is not just a tale of ghosts and supernatural encounters but a reflection of the deep connection between the people of the Highlands and their history. The castle stands as a reminder that the past is never truly gone and that the spirits of those who came before us continue to shape the world we live in today.